Hello everyone. This session is all about Python dictionaries. Now Python dictionaries are very special structures in Python, and here we are storing objects as in the form of key value pairs. So there's a key which identifies the location within the dictionary, and then there's an object which is associated with that key. Dictionaries are very widely used in industry, and they are very efficient ways of accessing specific objects once you know what the key is. So if you have a dictionary containing millions of objects, knowing the key lets you get directly to it. Let's see how we create a dictionary first. So dictionaries can be created in a number of ways. You can create an empty dictionary by simply assigning a pair of empty curly braces to a variable. So something like this. You say myDict is equal to curly braces. Now this is empty, obviously you want to have something within it, so you can supply it with the key value pairs. Now key value pairs are to be added within these curly braces, and each key value pair has to be comma separated. So between the first pair and the second pair is what I mean to say. And within the pair, the key is followed by a colon, and then it is followed by the value. So something like this. myDict is equal to 1 : apple. This is the first key value pair. 1 is the key, apple is the value. Then there's a comma, and then there's a second key value pair. Now Python is very flexible, and keys don't have to be integers. Keys can be strings as well, and you can have mixed values too. So as long as there's a key and a value associated with it, it can go into a dictionary. The important thing is that you cannot have duplicate keys. Otherwise then Python would not know which value to fetch when you ask for it. So keys have to be unique. The values can be repeated. Now take a look at this particular example. We have the first key as name. This name key has an associated value called John. The second key is 1, which is an integer key, and then the value is not a single number but rather a list. So in this way it is very flexible. You can also create a dictionary using the dict keyword, and then you pass the whole thing to it. This is almost a type of it's a type conversion actually, in a way, because here you already have a dictionary inside it, and this is the same thing as writing it myDict is equal to the dictionary itself. So the only reason why you want to sometimes do that is to be explicit about it, because the curly braces are also used for sets. But if you have structured it well, then Python will automatically identify it, and you don't have to specify that it's a dictionary. You can also pass a sequence with pairs. So for example, you can say myDict is equal to dict, and you pass a sequence. Now this sequence is such that each tuple within it is going to be taken as a key value pair. This is the second tuple. Now in this particular example I have passed tuples, but you can also pass lists, or you can even mix it up. So let's just run this cell and see what happens. We have printed out myDict, and since these are all in sequence, the last one is being run. This one is run, and it shows me that 1 is the key, apple is the value, and this dictionary has now been created. Now once you have created a dictionary, you want to access elements from it. You want to add things to it, remove things to it, or you want to see what's in there. So these are all functions that can be used in Python very easily. Let's take a look at some of them. Okay, so here is our dictionary. myDict is equal to key and value, key and value. So now we know the structure of the dictionary. If we output myDict with the slice operator and we pass the key to it, name, it's going to return the value associated with this key. So I'm going to get Jack for the first line. The second line, I'm using the get operator. Here, instead of using a slice operator and sending in the key, I'm saying get whatever is in this key. Now there's a slight difference in the way these two are used. The outcome is going to be the same. We are passing a key and we are getting a return which is the value associated with that key. However, if you try to pass a key which does not exist in the dictionary, so say if you have a very complicated dictionary and you don't really remember which keys are there, and you say, okay, this is my field and I want to get the address for this person Jack, you pass this value. Now if you use get to get the address, it's going to return the address, or if it doesn't find it, it's going to return a none value. But if you use a slice operator, it's going to try and find the name. If it is not there, then it's going to return an error. So basically using get instead of the slice will error control it for you. Now the interesting thing is, let's run this first and see. The first one we've seen already, that myDict name is going to return the value with name, that is Jack, so we get Jack over here. With get and age, we're going to get 26, which is here. With get and address, which does not exist. Now the address key is not a part of our dictionary, so we get none. And if we try to use the slice operator, we get an error. Now the interesting thing here is that none is the default return, but I can also specify any return I want. So let us say the address is 88, and if I try to get address and it doesn't have that key, instead of returning an error, it sends me a default value. So this can be very, very useful when using a dictionary in a real life situation. The field doesn't have a value, so we choose our own default and set it up. So it's a good idea in an industrial setting to use get rather than a slice operator. Now let's see about changing and adding to dictionary elements. So once a dictionary has been created, for example, you've got students and their marks in their dictionary, and you want to add new students, or you've taken a new exam and then those exam marks have also to be added. So dictionaries are supportive of that, and in that sense they are mutable elements. Let's see how this is done. So we have a dictionary myDict with the name Jack and the age 26. These are the two key value pairs we have. Now we want to update a value. So we simply access the value like we did when we were trying to get the value. We access it using the slice operator, and then we assign it whatever new value we want to assign it. And then when we output the dictionary, this new value will be reflected in that. So let's run this and see. Now in the second part of this code, we have myDict address. Now you know that we did it last cell also. Address is a key that does not exist in this dictionary. So when we are updating a key that does not exist, Python will look at the dictionary. If there's something to be updated, it will update it, of course, but if the key doesn't exist, it's going to add that key. So once we do this particular line of code, once this is executed, the dictionary is now going to contain a new key value pair. The key is going to be address, the value is going to be downtown. So this is how it has been reflected here. Now this dictionary is expanded. We have successfully added another key value pair. What if we want to remove something? So you can remove a single element, or you can even clear the dictionary or even delete it. So let's see how these commands are carried out. So we create a dictionary called squares. The key value pairs there are integer keys, and the values are squares of those numbers. So 1 and 1, 2 and 4, 3 and 9, all these are our key value pairs. Now suppose we want to remove this particular pair, 4 and 16. We don't want this in our dictionary anymore. So we just say squares pop 4. Now what's happening here is, squares is a dictionary. We are accessing the pop method of our dictionary, and for the pop method the argument we are passing is the key. So we say in squares, look at the key 4 and whatever value associated with it, and pop the whole thing, pop the whole key value pair. So once we output it, it's going to produce the remaining of the dictionary without this key value pair, and this is now gone. So if we try to access it now, it's going to produce an error. We could also remove an arbitrary item, so that becomes a game of chance. So we could say squares.pop item. For example, if we are trying to run a game where you are throwing a die and you want to see what turns up, you only have one throw of die. You can just pop item from a key value pair containing those 6 die rolls. So squares.pop item is going to return to you a key value pair, which is an arbitrary key value pair. So this is what remains after this item has been popped. Clear is a method of a dictionary which will clear everything within that dictionary. So if you want to clear out hundreds of thousands of items, you just say clear and Python just cleans it. However, clear will not delete the dictionary itself. The dictionary variable that you have created, squares, is going to stay in memory. So next time you try to pass a key value pair to it to add to it, it will still work. But if you use the del or the del keyword, that deletes the whole dictionary in its entirety. So it deletes every single key value pair within that dictionary, and it also deletes the dictionary structure itself. So if you now try and print squares after you have run delete, it's going to throw an error because Python will not be able to find it. So this is how it looks. The name squares is not defined. The other outcomes we've already discussed before. And finally, we see a few more dictionary methods. Let's start with this one here. So here marks is a variable I am assigning to keep my dictionary, and I'm using the from keys method. So this is an empty dictionary, and I'm going to populate this dictionary using from keys. So what's going to happen here is it's going to take each of these values in this iterable list, and it's going to take this as the key. So math will be one key, English will be one key, and science will be one key. And to each of these keys, it's going to assign this value. So we're going to end up with 3 of these key value pairs in the dictionary marks. When we print marks, we're going to get the key value pairs, which are math 0, English 0, and science 0. So something like this. Now we can also use another method called dot items. So this dot items lets us access each of the key value pairs, and we can use it in a for loop. So for example, we can say for kv in marks. Now kv is a standard way of accessing keys and values. You can also write key and value, obviously, because that is the structure of the for loop. That's the way it works. But you can use kv, and that is a kind of an industry standard anyway. And then once you're using these kv variables, you can print them out. So it will give you the key and the value. The way it works and the reason why it is so effective is that you get each of these. So this is the first line is for the dictionary that we created. So we got this k, math, the value 0. The second key was English, value was 0. The third key was science, the value was 0. Now instead of printing out both the k and v, I could, for example, print out only the values. So I got all 3 values. So this effectively separates my keys and values, and I can use them in my further programming. Finally, I can use the sorted method. Now what sorted does is, it's going to take the marks dictionary that I created, it's going to run through each of the keys in that dictionary, and then it's going to sort the keys out. Now by default, it's going to sort them out in a increasing alphabetical order. So if I've passed this, it's going to output English, math, and science, so alphabetically. Now it doesn't really matter to me what the structure in the dictionary is, because we are only accessing it with the key value pair. But using sorted is a good way to present your outcomes. So that's all regarding dictionaries in Python. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.